What is up? It is another episode of Dynasty Pylon. Today we have the guy in the chair. Freaking, we've been talking about this for weeks. Clearly, I haven't sent an invite, but even though I told you every show that, hey, man, you're more than welcome to come on. So, Braden, I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're going to talk a little bit of football with us. And if you got to go. But I know you're a busy guy, so what, dude? It's been a crazy couple days, and it's not even free agency.
It has been nuts.
Yeah.
It's been nuts.
So that's why I titled it the train before the wreck, because we haven't even hit free agency next week, and that's the 16th. So yeah, we're like a week ahead. So what do you guys think about this? Like, what just happened the last couple days?
Yeah, no, it's been a roller coaster. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
It's been a roller coaster for me, for sure.
I can imagine.
Oh, we're feeling out quarterback calls. We're trying to get Mahomes. We're trying to get Russ. All this stuff. Russ is going to Denver. Feeling all down, and then it was like, oh, got Carson Wentz. But the more and more I've been thinking about it today, I'm okay with the deal. I really am.
Yeah,
I'm sure the Colts are too.
I like that we didn't give up next to anything for them. Obviously third rounds are good for us because our last couple of third rounds have been pretty good, but we could still get a solid pieces in the first and second to go with Carson. And I think with our strength of schedule, we should at least be a playoff team, I think, next year.
I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll get to that, but yeah, Braden, what did you take in all this? Like, more specifically, how did your dynasty team take? Did it take any effect on this at all?
Well, I was happy Aaron Rodgers stayed because I have Devontae Adams and Aaron Jones, so that keeps that offensive core together. So that helps me a lot. Seattle, like, trading Russ away didn't really change anything for me, and neither did Carson. But
right, so big key moments of what just happened with the Russell trade. For those Noah Fant owners, like, it kind of changes their draft capital. Like, honestly, I don't even know if Noah Fant would be even relevant as a good tight end. He used to be kind of like one of the top 6, top 7 type guys. Like, he wasn't, the big 5, but I think he could have gotten there. But now that he has Drew Lock in Seattle, I don't know if he's even possible of even being relevant. Like, I don't trust Drew Lock. I don't trust Seattle. Gerald Everett didn't really do anything last year as much anyways, and neither did any tight end. So I'm all out on Noah Fant, but I know he's still young. I mean, if anything, I would probably trade a third for him. If anything, I don't know if he's even valuable as of now.
It's hard to say. I feel like Seattle's never used their tight ends anyways. Even when they had, like, Greg Olsen, Jimmy Graham, like, they didn't do a whole lot there.
Yeah, I mean, Will Disley was one of my favorites, but I mean, even then, it was still, like, with Russ, it wasn't even relevant. Like, I don't know. I'm honestly, if I had Noah Fant somewhere, I'd probably sell him. Maybe get as high as much as you can. Like, he's still young. You could probably get a third or a second for him. I'm all out on it. I just don't. I don't see how Seattle's gonna, if they're in a rebuild mode, the 2 firsts, the 2 seconds, and what was it, a fifth? They could probably change it around, but I don't think it's going to be this year. What were the specifics on those first? Was it all this year on the thirds and seconds?
I think it was the first and second this year, first and second next year.
So, I mean, I don't think they're going to do anything about the QB situation this season.
You don't think they'll get Willis?
I mean, if they do, but even then, it's like, is he going to be ready for that, crap of a line right away? I don't think so. I don't think Willis is ready. Like, he can probably go in somewhere and have to play. He'll be like in a Justin Fields aspect. He'll just be thrown into the Wolves or thrown at the Wolves, but I don't think he's going to be like, I think he needs time. Like, all these rookies need time. Like, honestly, San Francisco did the best thing they did with Trey Lance. Mm-hmm. Honestly, I'm excited for Trey Lance. and they sat him. We got to see a couple of games, but I don't know how it's gonna turn out. Like this season, I would hope that him sitting out behind Jimmy G would probably be some good out of him, and they traded up for him. So, yeah, I can't find it, but I'll take your word. So was it 2 firsts or 1 first of this year? You said
1 first this year, 1 second, 1 first next year, 1
okay. So it's
second
1 2
next
1
year.
2 1 2. Okay, so 1 2 1 2. Okay, on top of what they already have too. So, I'm gonna look at what they have total. But yeah, no, I don't know. Like, Mark, what do you?
Well, I think you're right. I think they could get Willis at 9 because I don't think anybody above them's going to be gunning for a quarterback. They could get
Carolina.
Willis. You think Carolina? I guess. Well, I guess Carolina.
I mean,
well, they're at 6, right?
Something like that. Yeah.
So I guess maybe Carolina. Yeah, you're right because they had Darnold still.
Yeah.
But if he's there, I mean, I think you could throw Drew Lock out this upcoming year, see what he has to offer, and then towards the end of the year, throw Malik Willis out there.
Yeah.
I mean, I think they still got pieces. They got receivers. I mean, I know they both. I know Lockett wants out now.
Yeah, I don't blame him.
Well, I'm sure teams are calling for DK as well. So,
well, I haven't heard him make anything publicly except for his admiration for Billy Wagner and Russ. But I know Tyler Lockett's actually expressed his interest to get traded. Like, he doesn't want to be there anymore. I was like, no shock there. The man in the chair.
Yes. Yeah. Had to get him in. I
had to.
Yeah. No. Yeah. That I'm over it. I'm not gonna express my feelings over that. I'm already. That was crap. But anyways, so Seattle has a first, a second. They have 2 seconds. So obviously the Denver and their own Seattle one, which is at right behind the Denver one, so at 41. And then they have the third, a fourth, Denver's 5th, and their own 5th, again, back to back, and then the 7th. So ultimately, they have about 8 draft picks total. I mean, it's not a whole lot that they're just gonna revamp everything because it's gonna take multiple years for that. But we've seen Seattle, like their drafting sucks. I mean, it's also probably better the fact that last year they had only how much, Mark? 3 guys or three draft picks?
Oh yeah, they had one of the worst drafts just because they had no draft picks.
Yeah.
So I was like, they're not going to fix themselves this season. Maybe it's going to be next season. It's just like, and what's up, Alyssa? She's blowing up our chat there. So
yeah.
It's you guys. Yep.
Talk about Seahawks.
Yeah, Mark, your fault. This is your job.
Coming from a Falcons guy.
No, yeah, but that's the thing, though. I already know that the Falcons are going to be in like a 20-year rebuild. Like I totally understand that. But here I am. This is why I do this. I'm talking about legitly all the 32 teams. I mean, if you go in my closet, I have multiple teams' jerseys in my freaking.
Apparently, she's a Saints fan now.
Hey, look.
Well, that's true. She wasn't necessarily a Seahawks fan. She was a Russell
fan. Yeah, she was a Russell fan. So, but I mean, she's gonna jump over to Alvin now. I don't think he's gonna last in Saints that long either. So you might want to pick someone a little different. I don't know. I mean, I don't think he. If the Saints were smart, they would trade him off. But
we don't even know if he's playing this year.
Oh, because of his allegation, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Even if he did get in trouble, yeah. But I don't know. Let's go Cards. Listen, look. I don't know, man. About this whole issue. Look, I know Braden's a Cardinals fan. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think he's a leader. Could be a stud as a football player, but I don't think he's a leader. And that's probably why what Mark was saying earlier about Larry Fitz, about what would you hear? He didn't like the way he talked to him, or what was it?
I guess they had a couple altercations where he was like trying to mentor and like help him, and I guess he kind of just shunned him off and didn't take his advice.
Which ultimately, I don't think you do that to Larry. I mean, it's
yeah. I mean, there's some people you're gonna do it. I don't think you're gonna do it to like that guy, and I think that's one of the reasons why he didn't come back. It's all speculative, but
yeah. So Alyssa also says she says that she hates San Diego, she hates Denver, and I especially hate Kansas City, and I hate Oakland. Well, all right,
go.
That's a whole division right there,
right? Let's just get the AFC West out of there. We don't like them.
Yeah. So, the whole thing with that move, I'm like, okay, well, good for Jerry Jeudy. If you're in a dynasty, now he went from offering second round pick to 2 first, maybe, because now, well, I mean, ultimately depends on how well he does this season too. So, if Jerry Jeudy does just pretty well, I mean, say you guys had Jerry Jeudy, like, what would your price now, a couple of days ago, compared to what now?
Well, I feel like even going into this season, like with Nathaniel Hackett as the head coach, like you have an offensive-minded guy, they're going to find ways to get the ball to him. But now I feel like it skyrockets a little bit more now.
Right.
Mm-hmm, totally.
There it is. Oh, I saved it. There we go.
Yeah, I agree. But the first thing you said when you're like, what is him? I'm like, he's going to skyrocket. They're already showing like him going crazy this year with Russ, deep pass. I was like, yeah, I can see it. I think he's going to take that Tyler Lockett type role that Russ had, this like guy that he had in Seahawks. I think that's going to be what Jared Judy's going to be for him.
Oh, I believe it. What's crazy is, he's still young. I mean, obviously, I can't remember exactly how old he is, but I know he's hasn't been in the league that long. With that move, like, okay, Russ is coming from a team who had no line to a team with a line, and me and Braden were actually in the chat with the Bears guys last night, and we were saying how dangerous he's going to be, and then with the whole joke of how dangerous he's going to be.
Dangerous.
He's a really good QB, but now he's going to have a line. He won't have to scramble for his life as much. And I think he's going to be one of the most, I'm going to say top 3 QBs. Easy. And I know that's bold of me saying before even like the draft, but I'm saying right now, I honestly think how well he played with that crap line to even give him a semi-better line, I'm easily putting him in the top 3. So is that bold of me saying? I don't know. But it's just a early prediction, but hey, whatever. Moving on. If you guys want anything about Russell Wilson,
I think that's a pretty spot on. I think he'll be at least top 5 for sure. Like without a doubt. I mean, you look at who else is out there, like he'll be.
Well, he's got a weapons core now. Like he's got, if they bring is it Gordon back, and then you have
so they're gonna. Hopefully he does stay.
Yeah. So you have two good running backs. You got a bunch of receivers who are all going to be really good for him.
Yeah, Cortland Sutton's still there too, right?
Yep. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't think.
And now you move him to Denver, where the air is thin. Those deep balls he throws are going to be even further.
Yeah, Albert O's pretty good too, so that's still not a bad tight end either. I mean, he obviously showed up whenever Fant was not, performing well or hurt or something. But Albert O did fantastic. So, I look forward to this, and I would hope that Bobby Wagner goes over there as well. Only because for my dynasty as an IDP owner, I have a really good linebacker who has no team, so hopefully he goes somewhere. But anyways, all right. So me and Mark talked about this earlier. The Calvin Ridley issue. So what did I had mentioned? We were like, I had told you, I'm like, wow, well, I might potentially have to burn a spot because depending on fantasy league settings, whether you let suspended players in your IR slots or not. I know the league we're in, we don't. So I myself might have to burn a spot. But the fact that it's a whole season, like it definitely makes, an owner think what they're going to do with it. Because think about it. If he's 27 now, he's going to be 28, 29 by the time he gets to play. And then at that point, it's like, how people forget, and, if they don't play at all, they're like, does he still have it? Is he going to be in football shape? These guys, they retire, come back, and they realize how much out of shape, like, they were out of.
Well, even before his suspension, I think people are already asking those questions of him, though. Is he coming back? Does he still have, what it takes to play? Because he left because of, obviously he was going through mental issues, and I can, applaud him for doing what he needed to do. But, I mean, you're going to get those questions when you leave in those circumstances. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So now you're going to really ask, does he really want to play?
So I'm just like, I'm looking at her responses.
Baseball.
Yeah. So, yeah, and we were wondering about, like, was it like, did he not know? Like, was he, like, at the time, maybe mentally he was like, well, I'm not playing, I'm not practicing. And, like, was he still getting a salaried paycheck? Like, I would imagine he kind of was, right? Or,
well, I think you get your guaranteed money.
Yeah.
So he was getting
but not the weekly one, right? So, and according to his tweet, and I don't know if you guys knew this or not, but he said he's not a gambler. He doesn't have a gambling issue because he only gambled $1,500, which us, that's like a lot, but I mean it's once, but on his salary. So let's take it in his salary. That's like a couple $100 for us probably compared to his salary.
Yeah.
So it's like,
yeah,
like. It wasn't like a whole lot. And on top of that, it wasn't towards anybody else. It was for the Falcons to win. So he didn't really hit his parlays or whatever, but it was, according to him, it was all nothing but Falcons bet. So, I'm just wondering, a whole season, is that too much of a punishment? Like, you got guys who've done like legal stuff, like big time legal stuff. And you're saying a whole year because I don't know if he can argue that or not.
I think
I think. Go ahead.
No, you're good.
I was going to say. I think they don't want to set a precedent, and like they're going to come down harsh on this because of gambling and like the whole Pete Rose thing. Like they don't want anyone questioning the integrity of the game. So I feel like. The Brewers, huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I feel like they're gonna take a hard stand against gambling, and especially since he bet on the Falcons and he's technically a member of that team. Like I feel like they're just like make an example out of you, so it doesn't happen to someone else and then lead down this slippery slope if they only do like a 2-game suspension.
I felt like that would be more reasonable.
No, I agree. It's very harsh. But they're also using him as an example to not do this.
Yeah.
And I think part of the problem is like if you do bet, you have to tell the commissioner's office immediately. Because I think he bet on an app in Florida, and there's some database where his name popped up and it goes straight to the NFL, and he didn't notify him.
Yeah. Mark, do you want to say something on that?
Interesting. Well, no, I was kind of going to say same things along the lines of Braden. I think it's something they don't want to happen, so that's why they're coming down this hard. I actually think it could have been worse, but I think because of him coming out and saying what he said, like, oh, I bet on the Falcons to win. I think, and because he wasn't on the team, it could have been worse. Because if you look at situations like Pete Rose, who banned from baseball altogether, because he was betting on games he was managing. So, I mean, is it a little harsh? I say it's a little harsh, but I still think for the points that they're trying to get across, it's appropriate.
Right. And I was thinking, maybe he knew. Okay, let's put it at this. Maybe he did know. And I don't know. Did he? I don't have enough information actually to try and defend the guy, but couldn't he use grandma's phone or something? Like, couldn't he like use someone else's phone and like, hey, I'm gonna give you this amount of money, and if it works out, keep this amount. Like it for him, it was pocket change, I'm sure. So the legal issues would have been different from there, but it turns out he used his own phone. So sucks. It really does. But oh well. Anyways. All right, so got that out of the way and talked about a little bit of big moves. So we got 2 more QBs that are basically one. Do we really want to talk about Aaron Rodgers? Or I mean, kind of like whatever. We kind of expected this kind of thing.
I didn't think he was going to go anywhere personally.
Neither did I.
And I know you didn't either. Yeah.
I mean, the only surprise he would have went somewhere would have been Denver. I feel like.
Exactly.
Hackett and stuff, but
kind of like the Jerry Jeudy tweets that he put.
Yeah.
Legitimately, I didn't look at the timestamp, but I wish it was. I think it was like not that far behind. It was like probably 20 to an hour minutes difference, but it was like a sad face that he signed for 4 years, and then I don't know, 20 minutes later or something, they got Russ, and it was like a happy face.
Yeah,
we lit. But you go, never mind, we lit.
Yeah.
I know, like man, that guy was going through the roller coaster ride,
right?
And it's funny. It's like, go ahead.
I was just saying, how would you feel if you're like Drew Lock?
I was just about to say that.
Like you imagine just sitting there going, man, these guys hate me.
Well, I mean, he's had his chance, man. Like, it's not like, he didn't get to start certain games. It's not like he was, he wasn't in Jordan Love situation where he never got the chance. Like, this guy legitimately had a chance. And it's probably because, their QB depth wasn't that big. But again, go ahead, Braden.
Well, I was going to say, like, they pretty much rolled Teddy Bridgewater out in like a wheelchair before they let Drew Lock get in the game.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, they did.
It's like, no.
Thanks for the year.
Flip it out there, yeah.
No, it was just crazy how quick that happened, and I was like, well, hey, good for him. And now I kind of wish I had like at least some piece of that Denver offense. Unfortunately, I don't have any in any of my leagues, to be honest. So
I had Tim Patrick, but I got rid of him.
In our league, yeah, that's right.
Yeah. I was like, dang, that was a mistake. No,
I mean, if you want, like, free agency opens up today in our league.
I was looking at it.
So, by the way, good God, man, our impatient league owner, was it like 5 a.m?
Yeah,
it was early.
Agency. I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm not awake yet.
I know. It's like, Lord, dude, chill.
I was gonna say something. I'm like, you know what? This is expected of him. We like the guy. His franchise is in shambles right now. He may not see it, and I don't even know if he watches us anymore. Every now and then he pops in. But G Money, if you're out there, I'm not gonna say your real name, but you know who you are. I really hope that you have a plan. But with this Russ thing, again, he's one injury away from losing it all anyways. But, hey, it is what it is. That's Dynasty for you. So, but yeah. So, talk about Rodgers. Whoop-de-doo, Basil. 4 years, $200 million. Great. I think that's going to get reconstruction eventually. I think I don't think that's going to stick. I think that's going to get reconstructed because they just tagged freaking Adams. And I know he's probably not going to like that. So I think they have till June, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Something like that to, to still work something out. As of now, it pushes them through the summer to figure out, okay, this is what we can do. But I think if Rodgers really, if there's any heart left in him, okay, I know like we keep calling him a douche and everything, but if there's any heart that he will do, it's going to be for Devontae Adams. Am I right?
Mm-hmm.
Like the one person, I think it would be him. And I think he would probably reconstruct it for him to have his main weapon because those two chemistry is insane. I can't imagine Adams anywhere else. And if I did, I would imagine somewhere with one of the top 5 QBs. I think he would be picky about it. So, because I secretly kind of hoped he would have went with like Dallas or something like that. I don't know. That would have been crazy. But imagine CeeDee Lamb and him together. I don't know. That's just me. But anyways, so besides those 4 points, Mark, I really, really want to know how you feel about Carson Wentz. And this is why I left him last before we dive into the rookies.
Well, like I was saying earlier, this affects me both my team and fantasy.
Yes,
because he's the only quarterback I have.
Let's start with the Washington Commanders first, and then we'll go into your dynasty team.
I don't know. At first, I was kind of like, "Oh, whoop-de-doo, we got Carson Wentz," but then I saw what the trade was, and I was like, "Okay, well, that's actually pretty reasonable. We could still get him." And then I was thinking we could still. Hopefully, I'm hoping now we just need to get Dean, Georgia linebacker. We could get him with the 11th pick.
I don't know why you're still on this guy. You're
still on that
because it'll help transform my defense.
I don't think he's going to be the hero, but okay.
We'll see.
I really hope he goes one spot before Washington picks.
Oh, that would be great.
Goes number 10.
That would be fantastic. Let's see.
I just want to see him melt down.
We're 11.
So if he goes to the Jets,
yeah, 10.
That would be hilarious. But I think right now, what about Devin Lloyd though? You don't think Devin Lloyd be okay?
Well, when we looked at his tape, he was more of like a outside like edge rushing linebacker.
Yeah, you and I liked him better than Devin Lloyd, but according to the NFL, I think a lot of people are liking Devin Lloyd a little bit more than Dean.
No, I know, but when I was looking at him, Lloyd is more of an outside like edge rushing linebacker. Mm-hmm. We need a middle linebacker, and that's what Nakobe Dean plays.
Well, I mean, I think there's bigger issues.
Because we already have that. We have Jamin Davis from last year.
True. But then again, they didn't use him until towards the back end of the season. I mean, if he would have been great, they would have used him at the beginning. Because I don't know what happened to Washington. Washington, to me, just fell off the face of the earth. Yeah. I can't explain it. And I wish that you historically
bad. No, their defense was historically bad those first 6-7 games,
which makes no sense.
No.
So it's like, well, are they as good as what we thought they were? And if we were questioning them, and then they didn't actually become a threat until almost week 10. I mean, by that point, it's like, well, dude, where are you at? I mean, you even said it after they lost Chase Young. It felt like they just changed their way of, all right, we got to do it for him kind of thing. Or I don't know.
Well, the inside people who were saying, like Jack Del Rio and another coach were saying that the biggest issue was all players for themselves. Like they were just all out there trying to do what was good for them. And then they said when Chase Young went out, all of a sudden the philosophy was, well, let's get more of a team. And then when that happened, all of a sudden it was like, oh, we're doing stuff now. Because instead of, just playing to just get my own stats and do my own thing, they're suddenly playing as a unit. And all of a sudden they're like, oh, look, this actually works. I don't know what took so long or why it took Chase Young to get hurt for them to be like, maybe that's what we should do. But that's why someone like Nakobe Dean going in there, just looking at his leadership style, just in the one full game I saw, blew me away. And I was like, he's one guy who'll be like, if someone is not doing something they're not supposed to, he's going to go up there and be like, no, this is what you need to do. And I feel like that's what my defense needs. And that's why I'm so high on him.
Well, if you get him, good for you. But I don't know if you're going to get him, but we'll see. I don't know. We'll see what happens in the draft. Hopefully we have another draft party, and if I'm 30 seconds ahead of everyone, and I'll give you my reaction, just like I did last season. So, but other than that, though,
going back to Wentz, though, I actually looked at his stats from last year, and they actually weren't horrible.
No, we said this before.
They weren't, through the roof like crazy good.
Extravagant, right?
He had like 3,800 passing yards, 25 touchdowns, and only 7 interceptions.
But should have been about 20 interceptions. The defense just dropped the ball.
Yeah, and then the interceptions that he did throw were god awful interceptions.
And that's the thing,
like that one against Tennessee. I'm like, dude.
Yeah. That was horrible. Look, I would have. The safety would have been better than doing this weird left-handed thing. I don't know, dude.
Especially since they came back and scored a touchdown anyway.
Was it like a 1-yarder? Was he already in? I can't remember. Was he already in the end zone?
Yeah, he was.
I can't even remember.
In the end zone, and he was getting sacked just like this, and the guy's like, "Oh, thank you."
6 points rather than 2. Thank you. Yeah.
Like, man.
Look, but we said this. Besides that, though, he didn't necessarily do all that bad. We mentioned this way before, like months ago. Wasn't that bad, and I don't know. They just gave up on him. I don't know. They traded like basically 2 firsts for him.
Yeah. Well, I think it was that last game basically when the Colts were like, "Yeah, I'm done. We're done with you," which doesn't seem fair to me because I feel like the defense let them down just as much as Wentz did in that game.
Yeah.
I'm like, you gave up almost 30 points to the Jaguars.
Yeah. But it's Carson's fault. Yeah.
Yeah, but they were going to put it all on Carson. I'm like, okay.
I mean, I read some stuff later after they traded him that it like leadership issues were part of it and not being able to take coaching very well.
Oh, cool. Nice.
Yeah. Well,
I like this other thing that came out too.
It's all the same stuff they were talking about Kyler, so.
Yeah, that's true. But then this other article came out today too, and I'm like, of all days, why does it have to come out today? I guess Carson Wentz was voicing his frustration with how successful the Eagles were while he was hurt.
He did that.
I was like, why does that have to come out today?
Because he did that. He did that with the Eagles, like what you're saying, and then
that's when they won the Super Bowl. I guess he wasn't happy with how good they were after he got hurt.
Gosh, whatever.
I was like, well, that sounds like a great team player.
Yeah, no kidding, dude. I mean,
stay away from water slides. I don't need that again.
All right. Well, I mean, other than that, I mean, I don't have anything else like regular wise, like league wise. Do you have anything else besides we move on to these rookies? Let me check real quick, but as far as I know, I'm not missing anything else, am I?
Well, we touched on it a little bit, but not really. I want to know your actual, like, where would your ideal landing spot for Bobby Wagner be? I know I joked in the Nerd Huddle saying he's probably on his way to Denver. But
well, I mean, it would be great because they lost Von Miller. They lost Von Miller last year.
Yeah, but he might go back.
To Denver?
Von Miller tweeted out some stuff about going back to the 5.280 and if he'd wear 40 or 58 if he goes back.
Imagine you bring both of them. That defense would be nuts.
Oh my gosh! And then isn't Chubb still on a contract too?
Yep, Chubb is still there too. You imagine that linebacking core?
Oh my god! Denver just would be nuts, man. Absolutely, just nuts. I'm thinking, if it's not Denver, it would probably be someone. Oh gosh. I would imagine the Vikings, but again, just because their linebacker crew is, I don't know, Vikings, maybe, probably Ravens. I know they're kind of hurting. I don't want them in Eagles because Eagles
I'm over
are
here
always hurting.
Talking about wanting a leader, and I'm like, wait, Bobby Wagner's available. We can just sign him.
We're talking about the Ravens?
Washington.
Washington.
I was like, wow. I didn't even put that together until right now.
I mean, it just if I really think a linebacker would probably be good with the Jets. Ultimately, I think the Jets need one. The Eagles need one.
Don't the Jets still have C.J. Mosley?
Yeah,
but free agent.
That's it. That's it.
Oh yeah, because they do run a 3-4, huh?
That's it. I mean, he needs help, man. This is why he's so good with IDP, because he's the only freaking guy you want on IDP, besides their safety Mayo. But I mean, other than that, I don't see anywhere else.
I like that Vikings fit though. You said the Vikings. I think that'd be a good fit for him.
I think it would be too. But again,
they're moving to a 3-4. I don't know if you know that, but they're moving to a 3-4 with their new defense coordinator.
Oh, I was just thinking player wise, but that would be great.
Is Anthony Barr leaving too?
Maybe, but
God, I hope so. That way we could get what's his face. Damn it, Nick Vigil.
Yeah.
That
guy was on fire, dude. And then Anthony Barr came back, just ruined it all. Like, I don't know. It was awesome for the good. First 4 games of the season, it was Nick Vigil. I'm like, dude, get this guy. And then Barr's like, hey, I'm back. And then they're like, oh, yeah, we don't need you anymore. Go back on the bench. Yeah. Stupid Vikings. I don't know. Anyways, all right. Yeah. We'll see what happens with that. So we won't go too in depth with these rookies. But did you guys do any research, any homework on these guys? Because we could talk about Chris Olave. Obviously, he was the next on our rookie board to kind of do prospect, and Brian Robinson. So we didn't really rank our receivers because they're so freaking close that I just I know I did that with D-line, DBs, and linebackers. I ranked them because, I felt like that's what their rankings were. The receivers, I did not. Tight ends, I kind of did. But with the receivers, they're just all so close together that I feel like different aspects, different attributes of what they have could easily make them number 1 at their teams. Mm-hmm. Well, 2s, I would say, depending on where they go. So, let's start with Chris Olave's stats. And I know this is probably going to be in our face because, again, we only have the 2 or 3 boxes, but it's going to be right in front of mine and Mark's face. But Braden will be able to. You'll see his face there down there. So,
right,
why start him? Yeah. So, freshman year, sophomore year, junior, senior year, he played all 4 seasons. Again, 175 total receptions, 2,702 receiving yards, with 35 touchdowns, which was what impressed me the most. With that, being there at Ohio, it was like he had Justin Fields there for a couple of seasons, and then he still progressed and excelled. And Bryce Young was there throwing him, right? So, yeah. So I think junior year was
not Bryce Young.
Was it not?
Bryce Young's Alabama.
Yeah.
Okay, so who am I thinking of? I can't remember who I'm thinking of. But that's yeah. Braden, I'm
Stroud. CJ Stroud.
Oh, okay.
Is it CJ Stroud?
Okay. Well, regardless of the fact, he's still good. I think he's a really good receiver. Obviously, he shocked the world with his time of 4-2-1 unofficially.
Oh yeah,
from what we were saying. Yeah, I guess. So there's a difference between the guy with the watch and their GPS system made a big difference, and I'm not exactly sure, but I guess when it happened, everyone was just lost their minds on how quick it was, and I think turned out to be like a 4.3 something is official time.
4.39.
Yeah, so that's still quick, man. That's still quick. But I'm not a believer in okay, because he's the fastest guy, I'm gonna go easily make him my number 1 top prospected receiver. As you saw, as what Henry Ruggs did.
I was like, that's a Raiders thing to do.
Fastest.
Let me go get him.
Yeah,
they do
speed
that at corner,
also doesn't.
They do that at all positions.
Yeah, speed also doesn't kill. It helps, but if they're not bulky or something, they can't truck anybody. They're not going to be able to get down the field. So let's put up a little. Do you guys have anything real quick before I pull up his video and we potentially get kicked out?
Yeah, I was gonna say, are we gonna get banned again?
I don't think so. We'll see. I don't think so because I'm gonna try and put this. Hopefully that blocks the CBS logo, and then I'm going to try and put our Rays logo there and at the bottom. Hopefully that helps out. Maybe it'll block out a little bit, and then with our faces at the bottom, scrolling around the bottom should be hopefully. Oh, hey, look at that. That's new. Ah, I forgot to erase the thing. All right, we'll just leave it there anyways. Or I could just have Jamar Chase just cover all of it. Do the whole thing. Maybe he'll run back and forth and cover it. I don't know. We'll do that. Yeah, so anyways. Yeah. Did you anything that impressed you at the combine before we jump into that, or what stood out to most of the combine for you guys?
Like the overall combine or a lot of it?
Yeah, overall. Like what? But besides, like, did anything like holy crap, or did something like something you expected didn't happen, or did you kind of like expect what you saw?
Well, I know you hate him, but Jordan Davis's stuff is insane.
Yeah. Look, man. Why is everybody so fast this year?
Yeah, it's like the fastest combine ever.
Yeah, I think they put different turf down.
Right?
Maybe. But I don't know.
I'll save something on it, too. It was nuts. Here, I'll pull it up real quick.
The only other thing I thought was kind of weird about the combine was Thibodeau kind of just like, okay, I'm done now. And just.
Ooh, I'm actually glad you brought that up. Okay. Look, he's a high prospected draft pick. So.
Oh, I get that.
He didn't really need to necessarily show off. He already knows he's going to be the top guy. The only issue is what the NFL's kind of like. There's teams out there are questioning Thibodeau's,
like drive.
Yeah, which I'm like, why? Because he's looking for other jobs outside of the NFL. I'm like, well, what's the big deal? What's wrong with that? Like, if he has hobby, like, is it because they're the Juju's little, stream gaming thing that potentially might happen? I don't know, but I don't think Thibodeau's gonna do that. If he is, he's a smart guy. I think.
Well, I think before the combine, even it was like he would take plays off and stuff like that. So they questioned how much he loved football and if he was just doing it because he's so elite already.
Uh-huh.
So I think he shows up. Did he run the 40 and then just pack it up after that?
I don't even know. Yeah, I don't even know if he did the 40. I can't remember. He did like 2 exercises. He did the bench in the 40, I think, something like that. Yeah, I don't know.
So I think it just raised more questions about him than answers. Mm-hmm. Like, we all know he's good, but I think the work ethic is kind of what the big question mark is now.
Mm-hmm. So,
but I think that was about was it Nick Bosa? Like, they have the same questions about him, and he's obviously got a motor. So,
well, he's the one who took his last year off because he's like, I don't want to risk getting hurt.
Yep.
And everyone was like, he still went like number 2, and I don't think it's the problem with his motor. So,
well, I think if we had a quarterback, we would have taken him 1.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. It was very interesting to what people were thinking. So, while we're talking about that, we'll run a little bit of Chris Olave's time here. Hopefully, my icons can block and keep us on. Unless that was a message saying, "Oh, you're already off." Hey, what's up, man? And Braden's here. Thank you. Gotta throw that in there. Tank Spoiler Geeks. That's our producer. So
yeah, I don't think he realized he didn't switch it off.
No, it's cool. I know who he is.
Spoiler Geeks.
Yeah. So we already saw him run his 40. Definitely shook the world. Definitely probably moved himself up the draft boards. ultimately, I think he was already one to be the top prospect anywhere. As from a dynasty standpoint, like of these receivers, did he move up your rankings, like above Drake London or Treylon Burks, or did he change, or do you still have him as like 3, 4, 5? Mark.
Well, I think the thing with Burke is he had a horrible combine, and I think he fell more than people rose. I think.
Okay, so
I still wouldn't mind picking up Burke in like the second round for Washington. To be honest, I think Burke is still talented, but I think Olave definitely.
I'm talking about dynasty though. If because you and I had Burks number 1, then we moved on to we said Burks, Drake London, Garrett Wilson, and then we talked about Jameson Williams, right?
Mm-hmm.
We didn't really get into Olave's crap yet until today because we've been behind, busy. I mean, but he's good. For me, I think he might have maybe went above Jameson Williams, and only because of the ACL tear of Jameson
Williams.
Williams.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah.
Is he my number 5? I don't know about that. So
Olave's looking pretty good though. I'm not gonna lie.
3 or 2.
He's got great hands. That's one of the things I noticed while watching some film earlier.
He's also got wheels. Like I feel like some people are in slow motion while he's like zooming past them.
So I feel like on crossing routes, he's a lot like Godwin, but like on those deep routes, he's a lot like Tyler Lockett. Like he just torches the defense somehow, and he's wide open.
That's a good comp. I like that.
Yeah, that's good.
It's a really good comp. Yeah, Tyler Lockett is probably the.
Yeah, I see a lot of Tyler
That's good,
Lockett,
man. I'm shocked. That's actually pretty good. I can't even imagine anybody better. But yeah, Tyler Lockett. Dude.
Well, I watched Tyler Lockett torch the Cardinals for a few years, so I watched it and I'm like, yeah, that's pretty similar.
So
I like what I see. I like what he put up at the combine, and it's still, I'm if he's there, like say he's taken. All these other receivers are taken. I still wouldn't mind grabbing him. Are you guys believers in landing spots, or just kind of like based off talent, or how do you evaluate? Like if he's there, do you take him? Like if this guy ended up on Houston, what would you do? No, is that a hard no for you?
No.
Okay.
I think it depends. If like Davis Mills is the quarterback, then maybe. Well, I don't think Deshaun's going to be the quarterback in Houston. But, like, I saw one mock draft with him going to the Eagles. And I'm like, I don't like that fit.
Yeah, no, I don't like that fit either.
Because it's very similar to Marquise Brown with the Ravens. Like, they couldn't trade anybody, so they drafted somebody, and he's never really fit there, I feel like.
Okay. The Eagles are really going to go 3 straight first-round
picks. They can't draft receivers, so they got to keep trying.
Yeah, good Lord.
Yeah, Rager didn't really do much.
Smith. I mean, Devontae Smith had flashes.
No, yeah, we talked about him last year. He did pretty good.
It's the same receiver, I think.
I don't know, but we talked about Smith last week,
and they like them small receivers there.
Yeah, because this guy's only 6'1", 189.
And remember, we were saying how well he did, Smith, regardless, but nobody realized it. Smith still put up numbers. Like, as for a rookie, he put numbers that I would expect a rookie to do. The only issue is you had JJ, 2 years ago, who did phenomenal, and then he set the tone, and then Jamar Chase came in right after him and did the same freaking thing.
Broke the record just after he said it.
Well, a little bit, yeah. So it's like, okay, well, now Smith doesn't have that, like, okay, well, he's not that great. To me personally, I think Smith is just fine.
I agree. That's why I don't understand why they would go receiver again.
Yeah, I don't know, but regardless of that. So let me. So anything else on Chris Olave? I guess we'll knock out Brian Robinson real quick. Okay. He's pretty easy.
Well, it's an Alabama running back, so.
Okay, so we're just moving on. All right, moving on.
Yeah.
Brian Robinson Jr. Was a Alabama running back who is standing at 6'1", 228.
That's some big running backs in Alabama, huh?
Yeah, I don't know where or how when he'll get drafted, and we'll see if he does. Maybe he goes day 3 and gets picked up in the 5th or 6th. But as of now, I don't know, because he was back up to Jacobs and back up to Najee, and I'm pretty sure someone else played there before him too. But it's like, what really happened? Like, why aren't you the starter? And you've been there for so long, like almost freaking ever. So let's put up. He has a giant freaking stats here right in our face again.
But it could also mean he's got good determination and he doesn't quit. He stayed with it. He could have transferred. He could have quit, but yet he didn't, and he eventually did become the RB1 there.
He didn't be relevant until the last 3 seasons. So junior senior basically combined. So his stats look big and they look good, but that's only because he had so many years there. So I don't know. I look at the last 2 seasons honestly for him, and it's just like, okay, well, maybe 1,700 yards.
Average last season alone is really good.
Well, yeah, because he was the only one guy. He only get there. But if you really take the last 2 seasons, you put 20 touchdowns, okay, and then with a total of 17 to 1,800 yards ish in his last 2 seasons. So he's okay. I mean, he's not like legit my favorite. In my eyes, he's a LeGarrette Blount. And I don't know if any of those who know who LeGarrette Blount is, I know we do, but if anybody watching don't know who that is, was supposed to be a top prospect draft pick and then didn't get drafted, and then ended up with Buccaneers and ended up with New England, and then put a name for himself. So he might be in that same boat. So
yeah, but I think because he's an Alabama running back, he'll get more consideration, I think, than maybe some of these other guys.
You think so?
I think it just comes.
Well, I think too, if he doesn't go around punching people.
Well, there's that, but but I mean, I don't know. You look at the last couple running backs. You got Henry, Harris. Was there like 2 or 3 more? I can't think of. No, not Jacobs. He was somewhere else.
Drake. Yeah, Jacobs.
Yeah, Jacobs, Drake. Like, I don't know. It just seems like there's a pedigree
Najee
coming. That is a Najee,
yeah.
It's not that big of a video for him, so he's not anything great or extravagant. And I don't know what's going on with my internet right now, but here we go. All right, let me put it up. And I don't know why I can't zoom in, but anyways, hold up. Here we go. All right, so Brian Robinson, 6'1", 230. No, 230? Was it 2? What do you got?
For
220 something.
I had 225. Yeah, I had 6'1", 225.
Okay. All right.
But he might have gained a couple pounds since the season.
No, who knows? Probably. All right. All right. So these are 2020 sets. So basically, the only running back there. He looks good when you actually think about it, but like again, the only question I have is it took you so long, and I only question, like, did Alabama didn't have a good, I don't know. Like, did they not recruit as well as they did in last seasons? They ran out of running backs. I mean, obviously the running backs coming in now aren't crazy good, but they're good. They're not in depth. So again, it's a small sample of what we have for Brian Robinson, and we'll see what happens. But where he lands, again, I think he might be day 3. I don't think he's going to go day 2 or anything. And if he does, it's going to be surprising to me. But he is a big back. What do you think, Braden?
I mean, he's huge. I don't see like elite speed or
like nothing special,
like shiftiness or like he'll be good if you need to punch one in at the goal line or short down. I mean, he's got decent hands for his size and stuff too, but
honestly,
like nothing on the tape pops for me.
Right, and that's probably because you can't live up to what the previous running backs were. I don't know. I mean, honestly, there's one guy that I was watching at the combine, and if you guys aren't familiar with James Cook, Dalvin Cook's his little brother, that guy kind of surprised me a little bit. So hopefully, I don't know, maybe he lands somewhere and does a little bit better. But again, this guy's big. He's a bruiser. I would say he's a good third down back. Right? Kind of bruise him up, linebacker, then send in your speed guy, something like that. But nothing crazy, nothing nice. Again, he is an Alabama running back, and somehow, some way, they always manage to do good. So, I mean, it takes 2-3 guys to get him down. That's probably the best I can do. I mean, again, just a bruiser, right?
Yeah.
So, again, this is the highlight reel, and it's not that big. And I've told Mark, when we don't have big highlight reels, usually it's because these guys aren't that great. That was a really short one.
Yeah, he also only had one real good season. So
true, and that probably was, and that was just last season. That was the only season. So, again, that's Brian Robinson. Overall. We'll see how he does. Definitely probably one of those guys you're going to do waiver pickup on if he becomes a starter. He's like that Alex Collins to me. Like, Carson's gone, you're going to get the next guy, and he's okay. I'm okay with rolling Alex Collins multiple weeks. That's Brian Robinson to me, in my eyes. But hey. Anyways, that's it, man. Nothing crazy. We're not like Spoiler Kings and go 2 freaking hours. I was insane. I'm sorry for
that was long.
So long. Like I didn't watch it because I didn't see the movie yet. I've been super busy with life and school, and then I was doing homework. I was like, this freaking guy, and I was like, all right, whatever. Left my comment, came back, and you guys were still alive. I mean, this movie must have been a 10 for you guys to be on that long, or maybe it was just so many of you that it was just like you guys all had to put in your 2 cents. I don't know. So yeah,
I'm not gonna lie. There was quite a bit of dead air though sometimes, because Tank would ask a question and give his opinion, and then all of a sudden he'd be like, all right, who wants to go next? And because everyone was like so tentative to like step on each other's toes and like cut people off, no one would say anything. So then Tank would be like, okay, Mark, you go.
Yeah.
No, and that's what he should be doing. That's kind of like
I agree.
Like I think I did it here with you guys. I would say your names or whatever, but like no, essentially that would make it a little bit easier. I mean, that many people, was it like 6 of you at one point?
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure Alfredo called him Brandon.
Well, that's
been my whole life. I'm used to it, so that's like my second name. Yeah,
that's
I was like, ooh.
I don't even get upset about it. So
he was the only one who said "see it later." Everyone else said "see it now."
Yeah.
Well, that's Alfredo for you. We like him. We love him. He has his moments.
Updated schedule.
So anyways, that's our schedule. Look, if you're watching this wherever you're at, look, time frames pretty much for all afternoons. Except for us, we like to do our own thing. But our main live one is tonight, Wednesday, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. That's so weird for me to say. Well, we're in Arizona. I don't care about these other times. Like, you adjust to us. We never move. You know what I mean? So anyways, Braden, I'm glad you're here. hopefully you can come back again if you can. I like your input, and I'm not staring at Mark's face all the freaking time. But no. So next week we'll go into more running backs. The more key running backs that we'll be looking into is obviously, everyone's raving over Isaiah Spiller, Breece Hall, Kenneth Walker, and Kyron Williams is one of them. So we'll see how we feel about them. And then whatever news we have, I'm sure we're going to have more bigger news. And that's when the train will wreck everything, because at that point, everyone will be able to start going anywhere that day, right? The 16th will be our day. That day would be when everyone starts signing, correct? 16th, next Wednesday? Yeah, so, yeah. Big day. Anyways, anything else?
Here's something crazy. I just saw my first mock draft since the combine, and the last trade, like someone just posted a new mock draft like while we were on the show, and Nakobe Dean wasn't even in the first round.
I don't know, man.
I was like, that's not good.
I told you, everyone's liking Lloyd.
How did you like Olave? Because he's your pick at 23. Braden.
Oh, really?
Yeah, They had you. And then the other Ohio State, it was us at 11. I guess we're going receiver now. That we have Wentz.
Oh, yeah, you're before the Browns. I keep seeing
Garrett
Wilson with the Browns.
Or where was this at?
It was NFL. I think it was Bucky.
Bucky Brooks. Really interesting.
Yeah. There's also had a trade. The Panthers moving up to the second spot to get an offensive lineman. Malik Willis going at 9.
What?
To the Seahawks. Yep.
Wow. I don't know about that, bro.
The only thing I didn't like was it had Burke going to the Cowboys. Don't need any more competition for CD. I just got rid of Toomer. Or Cooper. Sorry.
I mean, maybe he's a tumor for you.
Yeah.
No, man. I if it's CeeDee Lamb and Michael Gallup, I still think they're going to be productive regardless. I don't think Gallup is like, Amari. Obviously, he's not Amari Cooper, but this only means good for Lamb to finally become that wide receiver 1 we've been expecting.
Yeah.
So, not just being the 2 guy and being little brother there. He's going to be the actual main guy, and hopefully it'll rise his stocks. But yeah, you're holding the Kobe Dean thing. I know you love him and everything, but I have a feeling everyone loves Devin Lloyd a little bit more than the Kobe Dean.
Switching my stance, I'll take a receiver, then we'll just get Bobby Wagner in free agency.
Treylon Burks might fall to you.
No, they had that's who they had going to Dallas, and I didn't like him. I was like, no, don't go to Dallas. I'll take Burks. But they have us taking Wilson, the guy who said the Browns, the other receiver for the Buckeyes.
Yeah,
who the Browns like, I guess.
Isn't it? Well, they need a receiver, so I'm sure they're drafting one.
I guess they were like, Terry McLaurin came from.
Michael Gallup's a free agent, right?
Yeah, but they signed him. I think they signed him already. Honestly, I didn't.
Did they?
I'm pretty sure they did, or they're working on keeping him there for sure. Look, I'm already dubbing him there, so I'm not even worried if he's there or not. It seemed either the last update I got, which I can't remember off the top of my head, either he was signed or he is the main key focus of their signing him there. Which would be good for them because I think he's only 25, 26 years old, which, essentially he could still grow there another 6 years before they let him go at a much cheaper price than someone like Cooper.
Yeah, I agree.
So, I think the next biggest move for them is if they keep Schultz or not. That's the main key because that only means if Jarwin.
I heard he's going to get franchised.
Schultz?
Yeah. It's so sad. All of our top people for free agency, like Mike Williams, already re-signed a 3-year deal, so he's not going. They're saying
Dalton Schultz got tagged.
Yeah, Dalton Schultz got tagged. Chris Godwin got tagged. What's his name for the freaking Packers? That I can't think of off the top of my head. Devontae Adams got tagged. I was like, oh, there's not going to be anybody.
Only the best receiver.
There's not going to be anybody free agent wise. They're all just going to get tagged.
Yeah, well, I know Braden's happy about that one. Having Adams there with Rodgers still. So
yeah.
No, well, what do you say, Mark? I didn't get that.
Oh, I said what we basically said. Like,
us,
our, free agency preview. We literally were like, Devontae Adams probably not going to go anywhere. Godwin probably not going to go anywhere. Williams definitely not going to go anywhere.
Did we on Godwin? I don't know.
I think Godwin was the only one where we were like, he could possibly.
That's surprise. Okay, look, of all this crap, that was the most surprising one. I honestly thought he would go somewhere else. The fact that Brady's gone, and I don't know, man. Either Mike Evans is his boy, and he's like, "Hey, stick it out." I don't know, but they tagged him again. So if he's gonna stick it out another year, but easily Godwin has to be gone next year. He's gonna be a free agent in 2024. Has to be gone. There's no way that he's going to sign a deal and get franchise tagged again. There's no way. I don't see it at all with Kyle freaking Trask. No.
Well, I'm surprised they franchise tagged him after an ACL injury.
That's right.
Yeah, not just an ACL injury, but one like late in the season.
I don't know. It's very surprising, but look, all this is going to – we'll have more surprises along the way. This entire month, basically for the next 3 weeks, should be fun to talk about because – every player is going to be picking up their phones, and I forgot my little video of Trigger Happy. I was going to show it. Giant cell phone thing. Yeah, whatever. Anyways, yeah, it's hilarious. All right, so that's it. That's Dynasty Pylon. Mark, Braden, guy in the chair. Anything else? Or close it up. No. All right.
I think we're good.
Well, for those who stopping by, Alyssa, thank you for giving us your baseball takes, and hopefully good luck to you and picking
if there even is baseball
handful of teams. Yeah,
all good.
But again, it's always good to have three people because it definitely picks my brain and picks Mark's brain, and it's kind of like it changes perspective. So thank you, Braden, again. Hopefully you can show up next week if you can. But anyways, this is Dynasty Pylon. My name is Martin. That's Mark, and that's our guy in the chair in the show. Good morning, good evening, good night. This is Dynasty Pylon, and I hope see you for the next show when we break down more running backs as we go along and whatnot. Later, guys.
Getting hype when I aim up. Elevating that game up. Stepping up to the competition. Only first place, yeah, that's how I'm living. I'm winning till they digging up my grave. Eating all the things up on my plate. Game face when I step up into place. I was born and when I watched me elevate.